everyone. Today we're here with Adam Courtney. Hello, Adam.
Hi.
Adam is the owner of the Forgotten Works Studio here in Dumbo. They are on Bridge Street. He's my neighbor. I walk around this neighborhood. I peek in his windows because I've always been curious. Since I see his props from the windows, I've been curious what this space is about. So I finally tracked him down, and so he told me, no, this is you can't see the ceiling. This is, 16 foot
16 foot ceiling. Mm-hmm.
16 foot ceiling, this open space loft for photo and film rental. Here you have vintage couches, all the furniture, and the props all come prepared. You just come with a photographer, with a videographer. Here, this is the creative space. So we're here to ask Adam a few questions so we would get to know a little bit about who he is. Adam, how did you get started in this sort of creative business, or is this when did you get this space?
So I've been here about 10 years, and basically it started out kind of as my sandbox. We used to live in an old 3,500 square foot sewing factory in Bushwick back in the day, back in the early 2000s, and then a 1,200 square foot studio space in Williamsburg, kind of a little later than that. And it was always just the space where I could collect my props and furniture, and I could do my own artwork. And when I moved here in this much bigger space, which is fabulous, I started collecting more props and bigger props. And there's not a lot of spaces you can have when you have a small, I don't want to call it a problem, but possible addiction to collecting furniture.
Yeah, you have all this space. Yeah,
6-7 couches. At some point, you run into space issues in most places. So,
was it difficult when you first started space? Oh, you got this space mostly first for your creative needs.
Yeah, and then I wasn't here every day. I also run a consulting firm on the side, so this became sort of my creative workspace. And then because I wasn't here all the time, I had a lot of friends who were artists and photographers and models who were always looking for space, and so I was basically asked a bunch of times if people could use my space, rent my space, and after a while it just became apparent that this is a great space for people.
Yeah.
So most of the time if you rent a photography studio or a film studio, you end up with a big white box, and that's great if you want a big white space, but if you want to have 3 different living room sets, if you want to shoot with like 16 different fashion outfits and you want to make it look like different spaces, this is a much different kind of space to shoot in.
We were just talking about how you started that as your own creative needs, and then you had friends that asked for a rental space, and you built this out, right? You got this as a concrete box 10 years ago, and you built this all out, added a bathroom, added a kitchen, and you even, it's a great space.
Yeah, it's great. It took a while to build it out, so we were definitely operating in a construction space for kind of a while, but and we were constantly improving it over time. I also rent half the building to a recording studio, Vinegar Hill Sound.
Oh, Vinegar Sound.
Yeah, and Reed has been great. He's been a great partner in the space as well. We've had some fantastic musical acts come through his space. You should definitely talk to him at some point. So he's got a great a great recording studio in the back, and then we have this big, beautiful space with all the great light in front.
Does he rent out his recording studio sometimes? Or
I think mostly people rent time on the recording studio, and he does the sound engineering for them. But I think that sometimes people bring their own sound engineers as well.
Okay. Has there been special requests? Some of the special requests some of your clients might ask in a space like this? I imagine.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I have. So we have a lot of unique props here that I've collected over the years. I love thrift stores and yard sales and vintage shops, and I'm from Arizona originally, so anytime I go back to Tucson, I pick up a bunch of stuff, and usually whatever I can jam in a very large suitcase or 2 and bring them back. But I have a couple of carousel horses, like full-size carousel horses, a really beautiful antique wicker wheelchair. So sometimes we have really unique props, and people will come specifically because they want to shoot with a carousel horse or a 7-foot teddy bear. The carousel horses are up there.
Oh, okay.
Or the 7-foot teddy bear, things like that. We have an antique wooden phone booth. So sometimes people come for very specific reasons. They want this thing, or occasionally we'll do off-site prop rentals if people want to rent it off-site.
Just the props,
we rented one of the carousel horses for a month to more as a kindness than anything else, but to a school that was doing a play and they needed it, that kind of thing. So one of the nice things about it is because it's
my creative space, and I really do like to focus on sort of the community use. So we have the occasional community event here, things like that. I try to keep the cost as low as possible, so we get a lot of film students. We get a lot of people who are doing their senior thesis for fashion school, film school, things like that. And we're able to keep the cost low because our costs are relatively low. And,
right. Right. And over the years, has there been any difficult times? Like, how was it during the pandemic? Did you have to shut down?
Pandemic was awful. Like every other venue in the city, every other film studio, photo studio, we were basically shut down for a year. I had 2 bookings all of last year.
That's difficult, right?
And it was,
I had to keep paying.
And we had to keep paying rent. Yes,
Yeah.
I know that there were some landlords out there who were willing to give you a break or something like that. We really didn't get that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was bad timing too because we had a roof leak because somebody, I guess, on the roof had drilled some holes in the roof, and it just, so they came in and they completely redid our roof, which was great, and they fixed a lot of the problems. But as part of that process, they crushed the wooden floor that we had, so they had to rebuild the floor. So we were basically shut down all of January, all of February while they were doing the renovations, and then March. That was the end of bookings, and so we literally had 2 bookings in January, February, and then nothing for the entirety of the rest of the year.
Well, I'm glad you made it through that. Now we're on the up and up, hopefully.
Yes, and now we're playing a little bit of catch up in terms of back rent, but we're surviving, and that's
that's
more
all
than
that
I can say
matters.
for a lot of people, unfortunately.
You live to see another day.
Yes.
Live to fight another
Live
fight.
to fight another day. Yes. We're still here, still making art, thankfully.
Yeah. So again, we're here to introduce the space to our neighbors here. You can bring a photographer here. We're here for photos. You have a video you want to shoot, and on occasion we can do events here as well, right? So remember to reach out to Adam. I will be posting. Actually, he will have a new discount for a coupon for our neighbors. Maybe a new client coupon. We'll post that on the website as well. We hope to see you here.
We also, I should just say, I also am a photographer, so I do shooting in the space. If people are looking for, portraits, headshots, I used to do like professional headshots for financial services companies, actually, things like that. So we do that. I've done actually a surprising number of people who've requested just a quick studio session for either professional headshots for LinkedIn. Now that everything's going digital, everybody needs good portraits for their professional profile, and a camera selfie is not an ideal one for that.
For LinkedIn, no.
So we've done great discounts. So we'll do probably periodically we'll do discounts. So if somebody's looking for a portrait session, there's a lot of families in the neighborhood. We do have a 7-foot teddy bear and carousel horses and stuff. So family portraits and things like that. If people are looking, they should always just reach out. We can either if they don't like my style, I can certainly match them to another photographer.
Here we go. We hope to see you here soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.